Hey, my friend, welcome back to Total Chiefs, the ultimate channel for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Big week ahead, the AFC Championship game is just around the corner, and I've got some exciting updates for you today. But before we dive into it, I have a little challenge for you. You see, the Chiefs Kingdom has been growing here on YouTube, and we're aiming to hit a huge milestone, 3,000 subscribers before kickoff on Sunday. We're so close, just over 500 subs away. That's where you come in. Do you want to be part of this journey? If you're a real Chiefs fan, and I know you are, hit that subscribe button right now. It's free, and trust me, you won't want to miss out on daily news, live shows, playoff watch parties, and so much more. Let's make this happen together. Picture it when we hit that number. You'll know you were a part of it. You're not just a fan, you're part of the movement. Oh, and while you're here, let me know in the comments, how confident are you about this? Sunday's game, on a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped are you for the Chiefs? Alright, with that said, let's jump into today's updates. We're kicking things off with some good news about a player who's set to make a big impact this week. Ready? Let's go! Alright, let's talk about the good news, because we could all use some positivity heading into this massive game. The spotlight today is on one player who's making a huge difference for the Chiefs, cornerback Jaylen Watson. Watson made his return last Saturday against the Houston Texans, and let me tell you, he didn't just show up, he showed out. It was his first game since October, and there was some concern about how he'd perform after being sidelined for so long. But guess what? He crushed it. Here's what Coach Andy Reid had to say about him. Jaylen came out of that game feeling great. He's fresh from the injury, and we're seeing him perform at a high level. That's music to my ears, and I bet it is for you, too. Let's break it down. Watson played 59% of the defensive snaps last weekend. In that time, he logged 1 tackle, 1 pass breakup, and this is the kicker: he allowed 0 receptions. That's right, not a single catch against him. Pro Football Focus gave him a 71 defensive grade, which is solid, especially for someone just getting back into the groove. Now imagine this, Watson's at 100% this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. No snap restrictions, no worries about setbacks, just pure, full-speed action. That's a game changer for the Chiefs defense. Let's take it up a notch. I want to hear from you. Do you believe Jaylen Watson will step up and lock down the Bills this Sunday? Type B for believe or D for don't believe in the comments. And if you're a betting fan, here's something to consider. With Watson back in top form, the Chiefs are currently favored by 1.5 points. Think about it: if he's at full strength, do you see the Chiefs winning by 3 or more? Let's get a conversation going in the comments. Alright, so we've got Watson back, and that's a huge boost. But he's not the only one who matters. Up next, we'll compare his performance to another player and dive into why having him back changes everything for this team. Stick around. Alright, let's dig a little deeper into why having Jaylen Watson back is such a big deal. It's not just about his stats or that solid performance against the Texans, it's about the difference he makes when he's on the field compared to other players in his position. Take, for instance, Naze Johnson. He filled in for Watson during his absence, and while he gave it his best, the difference in performance was clear. Last weekend, Johnson played 50% of the defensive snaps. Here's how it went. He logged 4 tackles, but allowed 3 receptions for 38 yards and a passer rating of 118.8. Not great, right? Now compare that to Watson: 0 receptions allowed, 0 yards, and a pass breakup. That's the kind of lockdown defense you need when you're going up against a quarterback like Josh Allen and a receiver corps like the Bills have. Having Watson back doesn't just improve one position, it stabilizes the entire defense. When your secondary is strong, it takes the pressure off the rest of the team. That means the pass rush can focus on getting to the quarterback without worrying about blown coverages. So let me ask you, Which player do you think is the most crucial for the Chiefs' success on Sunday? Is it Watson, or is there someone else? You've got your eye on. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to see who you're counting on. Up next, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, the bad news. Yeah, there's a downside to all this, and it's something every Chiefs fan should know about. Let's get into it. Alright, Chiefs Kingdom, it's time to tackle the bad news, and this one might have you shaking your head. The NFL has announced that Clete Blakeman will be the head official for Sunday's game against the Bills. If you're not familiar with Blakeman, let me break it down for you. His track record with the Chiefs isn't exactly stellar. Here's the deal. Patrick Mahomes has a career record of 6-5 in games officiated by Blakeman. Doesn't sound too bad, right? But dig a little deeper. That includes some tough losses, like the infamous Christmas Day game against the Raiders last season, where the Chiefs lost 22-14. In fact, of all the referees in the NFL, Mahomes has his second worst record, with Blakeman calling the shots, and it gets worse. On the flip side, Josh Allen and the Bills thrive under Blakeman. Allen has a career record of 6-2 in games officiated by him, including a dominant 40-14 win against the Jets just last month. The numbers are clearly in Buffalo's favor when Blakeman's holding the whistle. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are the refs going to hand this game to the Bills? Look, I'm not saying it's rigged. All I want is a fair game. The Chiefs don't need help from the officials, they just don't need them getting in the way. And speaking of fairness, let's bust a myth while we're at it. There's this narrative out there that the NFL is scripted for the Chiefs, that Mahomes and company get all the calls. Let me tell you, that's nonsense. Since 2018, the Chiefs rank first in penalty yard differential and near the bottom in offensive and defensive penalty EPA. The numbers don't lie. The Chiefs don't get favorable treatment. So here's my question for you. Do you trust the officials to call a fair game on Sunday? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments. Let's see where you stand. Alright, we've covered the good and the bad. But the story doesn't end here. Next, we'll dive into how the Chiefs can overcome any challenges and lock in a win, no matter who's wearing the stripes. Stick with me. Alright, let's focus on what really matters, how the Chiefs can get the job done on Sunday. Despite any hurdles thrown their way, we've got the talent, the momentum, and the heart to make it happen. Let's break it down. First off, the defense. With Jaylen Watson back at full speed, the Chiefs have a real shot at containing Buffalo's passing attack. Josh Allen thrives on big plays, but a lockdown corner like Watson can force him into making mistakes. Remember, Allen has been prone to turnovers this season. The key will be pressuring him into bad decisions while the secondary does its job. Now, let's talk about Mahomes and the offense. Patrick Mahomes is a maestro at the line of scrimmage, but against a defense like Buffalo's, he'll need to lean on quick reads and efficient play calling. This is where Travis Kelce comes in. Kelce has been Mahomes' go-to guy in critical moments, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a monster game. Special teams can't be overlooked either. Harrison Butker needs to be automatic in a game that could easily come down to a field goal. And let's not forget about field position. Punter Tommy Townsend will play a key role in keeping Buffalo pinned deep. But here's the bottom line: discipline. The Chiefs have to minimize penalties, especially with a ref like Clete Blakeman officiating. No unnecessary flags, no mental lapses, just clean, efficient football. So here's a question for you. Which aspect of the game do you think will decide Sunday's outcome? Offense, defense, or special teams? Drop your answer in the comments and let's see what the Kingdom thinks. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with a rallying call. For the Kingdom, it's time to lock in and get ready for the biggest game of the season. Don't go anywhere.